Well, probably the best way to do this is to just start recording and just let things spin out of control from there.
Wait, you mean we weren't recording already?
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
So, welcome once again to AT Banter. Well, wait, no. Okay,
you can't say once again. It's our first episode.
Okay, hold on. Okay, rewind. And welcome to AT Banter.
Welcome.
And this is our first episode, sort of, in a way.
It's the inaugural re-recording of an episode.
That's right. Yes, precisely. My name is Rob Minot, as usual. And
what do you mean? You got to stop this as usual stuff. You've never been Rob Minot before on this podcast. Never. I mean, you've been Rob Minot before, but you've never been on this podcast before, so you can't be as usual. Nothing is as usual anymore. This is all completely unique.
Okay, for the first time ever, I am Rob Minot.
Well, that's really
wrong
not
again.
Yeah, that's not entirely accurate either.
I don't know who I am.
You are Rob Minot. Just be in the moment.
I are Rob Minot, and I am joined today, as usual.
No, not as usual. It's unique. This is the first time.
Rachel, come be
Nobody
the host.
knows about the first botched recording.
Or the 5% that was offered.
That's right. Oh, my God. Am I glad I have access to audio editing.
Don't you blaspheme.
Audio editing equipment, because I will be making good use of it today. I am Rob Minot, and I am joined by Ryan Fleury.
Hi, I'm Ryan Fleury.
And Steve Barkley.
And I am Steve Barkley.
And we are the Supremes.
Really?
Lawsuit.
I always wondered why we had these dresses.
That's right. It all makes sense now.
Wait, I'm in a dress? You told me it was a kilt.
Yeah. Close enough.
Kilt, yes. Yeah, it's kilt.
It's a kilt.
It's kilt.
We are here today to talk a little bit about assistive technology, among other things, clearly. To start the ball rolling, I'm going to toss things over to Ryan Fleury.
Well, I'm Ryan Fleury. The Apple Store has recently decided that they have incorporated an accessibility section on their store, including such devices as accessible music products, braille displays, and other devices. So, Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, of course, as one of the co-owners of Aroga Technologies, a company that's been dedicated to assistive technology for the last 28 years or so, I think it's a little intimidating to have somebody with Apple's pull, out there as a competitor. However, we've managed to find our niche market over the years by providing high levels of support and service, and I think we will continue to do that despite Apple entering into this fray. I think it's good from the sense that it brings better awareness to assistive technology. It brings it more into the mainstream, allows more people to learn about it and see it presented. But realistically, I don't know that a lot of people will be wanting to go to Apple for their assistive technology when they can get it through somebody who can provide a higher level of support than they probably can.
Well, and I think, too, we've always prided ourselves, especially on the support that we're able to give our clients when they purchase a product from us. So, I don't think Apple can compete in that arena.
I think it's unlikely. I mean, certainly if Apple put their mind to it, they could certainly do so. But you have to wonder if they're actually willing to commit to being a full-fledged assistive technology retailer and if they're going to be willing to provide that level of support that people have come to expect. Now, on the flip side of it, they could use their bulk purchasing power and absolutely smush us under their feet if they wanted to, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Come on, they can't even make iTunes usable, so...
That's true. What is it with iTunes? Like, why can that company not get iTunes right?
Well, even the latest version that just came out, a lot of blindness people are saying that they've broken accessibility again in iTunes. So I don't know why Apple just can't get it right.
Well, there's so many other things that are broken in iTunes. Why not break accessibility? I mean, for goodness sakes. You know, I finally figured out why half my music library was missing. It got indexed by iTunes, and iTunes decided that, we don't recognize all of the tags on this music, so we're just going to delete it. Unbelievable. I found out about it by accident, just by reading some stuff online. There were people complaining about iTunes doing this, and I suddenly realized, you know what, I've been missing all kinds of folders and albums that I've had over the years that I've gotten online, or I've gotten rips that I've done myself, and they're gone now. I've got empty folders sitting there, and I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was me, but as it turns out, no, it wasn't just iTunes. iTunes going, we don't know what that is, so we're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah. I've read some articles about especially it's really hitting people who actually are in the they actually are creating their own music. So of course, all those MP3s are not tagged, and they're irreplaceable. So
that's a good point, Ryan. Did we check our Dropbox lately for the stuff that we recorded?
No.
Brian and I are actually part of the worst band in the world, and I say that with absolute confidence. We are terrible, but we've recorded some of our own music. Nothing fit to play. No, we will not play it for you, and don't ask us, because we will just go no. But I wonder if it's still there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Probably. I don't recall adding the Dropbox to my iTunes stuff. So
no.
That would be bad if we did, though.
Well, now that we've switched away from iPhones, I'm not personally using iTunes for anything.
Yeah, me either. I've switched over to Android now, and I'm very, very happy with my Android.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and probably the number one reason I am so happy with my Android is I never have to use iTunes again.
Well, so we can expect then, after this podcast is published, that Apple will indeed come down and crush us. So,
if they want to talk to us about accessibility and how to do it better, we can help them with that.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I think the main thing to take away from that article is just the fact that it's starting to be taken a little bit more seriously, and what Apple does usually, other industries wake up and take notice. So I think that it's important that, in the sense that it's making accessibility a little bit more of a hot topic. But I mean, and even if you look at their store and you dig in far enough to actually find this section, it's pretty limited on what they do have. And it's all, and it's, of course, all completely tailored to Apple products. So,
right, true enough.
They've got a couple switches in there. I think a couple braille displays.
I'm curious how many products they actually have up there. I mean, we've got something like 1,600 and some odd.
No, 1,900. As somebody who takes care of the website, it's over 1,900. So
that's plenty.
It is. So I don't think we have anything to worry about. But I think that it is probably a positive thing going forward. I think we'll see some changes, which actually, that's a good segue into the next thing we were going to talk about, which is the fact that Microsoft has announced that they're going to extend the July 29th deadline to upgrade to Windows 10 for free for anyone who uses assistive technology.
Yeah, that's one I don't get at all. One, why have a deadline at all? Like, what's the point of shutting off people and saying, okay, you could no longer go from Windows 7 and Windows 8 up to Windows 10 presumably without paying for it? And then how are they actually going to determine who's an assistive technology user and who isn't, and what line are they going to draw on assistive technology? I mean, if somebody is sitting on a computer using, say, a alternative mouse system, like a head pointing system, that's assistive technology. So that is, to a Windows computer, going to appear as a human interface device. It's just going to look to the computer like it's another kind of mouse, because all of the hardware for it is external. So how do they then determine that this person is an assistive technology user and is entitled to a free upgrade? And if they're just taking people at their word, then how do they police it? It's curious.
Well, and I think the blog's been pretty vague to this point as well, and they've still got 2 months to come out and make specific what their plan is. And hopefully they will, but, Microsoft hasn't always been known for their best communication. So, I think only time will tell as to how they're going to be able to tell who has the disability and who doesn't.
Well, I mean, I can't see other than just getting people to take selfies of them with their switches. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be nearly impossible to. I mean, it really feels just like posturing.
Well, if they can make it free, they've made it free since last July 29th. They're still going to make money off of people who build their own systems. They're still making a percentage off of every computer that's sold with Windows on it. So it's not like they need to start charging for Windows 10.
Yeah, it does seem odd. I mean, I'm kind of with you. I don't understand even why they're... I mean, especially when, I read an article just the other day about how they've started... They've marked the Windows 10 update as a recommended update, which means that in your Windows settings, if you are telling... In your Windows update, if you mark that to automatically install any recommended updates, you're going to get Windows 10 fed to you without you asking.
And it's been happening. People are restarting their computers, and it's coming up saying, install Windows 10.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you would think that obviously they want everybody, as many people as possible, to upgrade to Windows 10. So, that just, brings me back around to why even have a deadline? Just continue what you're doing and just make it a free update. And why even have a deadline? And I don't know, why implement this weird thing where you it's clear that you're not going to be able to police it?
Yeah, I had a conversation with some friends the other night, and their big concern about moving up to Windows 10 was what they'd read online about privacy in relation to Windows 10 and what the Windows 10 agreement basically said Microsoft was entitled to. They were concerned that their privacy would be breached, that Microsoft was overreaching and didn't want to upgrade to Windows 10, and that's fine. I mean, that's up to them. I'm sort of the opposite camp. Whenever a new operating system comes out, I pretty much ignore the user agreement, click OK to anything, and I probably owe them my firstborn child now, but I'll leap into a new OS without really worrying too much about things like that. Whereas a lot of other people are going to have concerns like that, and they're going to hold off until they've heard that these things are solved. So are there going to be changes to Windows 10 that will make it worthwhile for somebody to buy an upgrade when they've held off this long already? Are people still voluntarily doing the upgrade, or have they pretty much captured the market share that they're going to capture at this point? Is this just one way of them sort of nudging people along and saying, you better get that Windows 10 upgrade in now, or you're not going to get it for free? I don't know. There's a lot of questions around this, and I think it probably doesn't have a lot to do with assistive technology at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. So, all right. So that's now we've added Microsoft to our enemies list. That'll be.
Yeah, they'll be coming out with their own assistive technology company.
That's right.
Well, they've already got Microsoft Accessibility toll-free line, so.
Well, but
that's true, which is an awesome thing.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, that does bring up another point, like this whole, and I think this lends to what you're saying, is that in that you didn't think that it really had anything to do with assistive technology, because, the article states and talks about narrator. It talks about all these Windows accessibility features in Windows 10, but those are also, they're all in Windows 8. They're all in Windows 7, right? There's nothing specifically in Windows 10 that isn't in any of those other operating systems in terms of AT, is there?
I've heard that they're more sophisticated in Windows 10, but to what level, I'm not really sure. I have had people tell me that they've been able to operate the computer with narrator alone. There's definitely some additional stuff around alternative access, switch access, those kinds of things. I think it's, part of an ongoing evolution in assistive technology, and Windows 10 is going to be better than Windows 8 was, and Windows 8 was better than 7 was. But there's still a lot of people out there who are using additional assistive technology beyond what's built in. If they didn't need to, they probably wouldn't. Look at all the Mac users out there who've been enjoying VoiceOver for so many years. They're not going out and buying a third-party screen reader for a Mac. They're using what's built in, and I don't know that narrator's to the same level of access as VoiceOver is. I've never heard anybody make that argument, certainly.
No, and Microsoft has, come out and said publicly that they are going to do more with accessibility and narrator, increasing voice rates and adding more voices and trying to turn it into a more useful screen reader. But people like myself who are totally blind have either been using JAWS, WindowEyes, System Access for years, and now NVDA, free open source screen reader. We really need another screen reader in the market.
Well, if you look at NVDA is the only one of the ones you mentioned that's free. So I think it's fair to compare NVDA to narrator. I don't know that it's fair to compare commercial screen readers to it, because obviously they have an economic interest to make sure that they stay on top, particularly of the programs that consumers are going to use most, both at home and in a workplace. Is Microsoft going to ever spend a lot of time making sure that narrator works well with something like, say, Adobe Acrobat, or another third-party accounting package that somebody might use in an office space? It seems pretty unlikely to me that they're ever going to support third-party software. They're going to do Office, they're going to do the operating system itself. They'll probably support other Microsoft applications, but they probably won't venture out past that.
Right.
NVDA being community supported, they're going to support what the community demands, and that's going to be what they hear the most from the community, or the programs that the community themselves is going to go out and take this open source software and work with it and support a program. The commercial guys are going to go out and they're going to look at, what's being used in an office space, what's being used in a school, what's being used at home, and they're going to try and support all of that as best they can, based on the most popular selection. So there's certain cases to be made for a built-in screen reader. If somebody is just web browsing and using Microsoft Office products, then narrator might just do the trick for them at some point, if it isn't doing so already. But there's going to be a place for community-supported screen readers, and there's going to be a place for commercially supported screen readers for a while to come, I think, until companies actually recognize the need for accessibility and start making their programs accessible out of the box.
Okay, so something else we should probably talk about, because last week was a pretty big week around here. We had a pretty decent sized press release, didn't we?
Yeah, the press release for the NuEyes glasses went out. New low vision aid coming out of California, based on a military spec set of eyewear, virtual reality eyeglasses with a camera on the front of it that's been set up to magnify up to 12 times and also provide contrast enhancement for reading. I put out a press release last week and it got picked up. I haven't checked the stats lately, but I think within 2 days it had been picked up by 230 news organizations around the world.
Wow.
A whole bunch of them in Canada, which was what I actually targeted. Tons of them all across the United States, and then for some reason there was a smattering of them in Europe, but it went really big in India. Go figure. I don't know why India specifically, but people are really excited about the idea of head-worn assistive technology. the NuEyes glasses are kind of a new foray into that market. They really kind of reach further than any head-worn system has done before. The glasses themselves have a ton of technology built into them. In addition to the magnification and text enhancement stuff, hiding in the background and inactive right now, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth, it's got digital compass, it's got GPS, it's got a barometer, for goodness sakes. There's just tons and tons of stuff built into them. There's magnetically connected earbuds that you can put onto it for audio. And over time, they're developing the software to add new functionality. So they're adding, I believe towards the end of this month, they're adding streaming video. And they are going to be adding later in the year optical character recognition, so you'll actually be able to hold up a document and have it read to you. And then they're going to open up the whole Android platform. The device itself is built on Android, and you'll be able to get access to email, to web browsing, to all of those Android-y things that you would do. There's voice recognition built into it, so you can dictate into it, and because it has Bluetooth, if you really wanted to, you could pair a Bluetooth keyboard to it. It could be an all-in-one head-worn computer that you could just sit in your lazy boy and, surf the internet, and nobody would know that you had porn on.
That'd be perfect. If it can make pancakes, you'd have a sale right here.
I am going to go out and I am going to Google Android connected pancake maker. And I am almost willing to bet that there's one out there now.
That's right. Well, but you're right, though. I mean, wearable tech is hot right now. It's sexy. People are really taking interest in this stuff. Between wearable drones, which is something I saw on the intranet last week. It's very cool. A drone that sits on your wrist and is able to, I guess, make some sort of a hand motion, and it'll fly off and fly up, take some footage, and then fly back down.
Stalkers are going to love this.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy the tech that's coming out for wearables. Soon we'll all be walking down the street with our augmented reality glasses on. We'll have our little drone in there. We'll flick our wrists. It'll fly off. It'll fly ahead. It'll get us lunch. It'll fly back with our lunch. Put it down in front of us. Meanwhile, we can be sitting on Tinder, looking for our next date.
I can only hope. I really hope we make it to see that day. But I mean, this isn't part of you surprised that it kind of took this long? Because really, ever since, how old are Google Glass now? I mean, that was what, 5 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, Google Glass is something that Google never really carried forward with, and I was told by somebody who claimed to have fairly tight links with Google. I don't know if that's the case or not. They claimed a lot of things and may not have been the most believable person in the world. But their claim was that when Google came out with Google Glasses, the telephone companies, the cellular phone companies that they dealt with, got very threatened by the technology. They felt that Google was going out, they were making their own cell phone technology, they were trying to leap ahead of them, and they were going to threaten their core business. And they threatened to stop using Google Android as part of their phone systems. And with that threat in mind, Google backed off of the development of Google Glasses and decided to leave that up to other people. But they left behind a bit of a legacy in terms of the technology that they had already developed. So other glasses type companies could go out and do their own development. And presumably that could be where the guys who made the glasses for the NuEyes started out, was with that technology as the basis for their platform.
Right. But it sounds like they're still actively developing that platform. Like there's still big improvements coming to the unit, from the sounds of it, right?
Oh yeah. There's definitely stuff coming down the pipe. There's all kinds of technologies that people are talking about now in terms of the wearable glass type technology, and a big part of it is the augmented reality side of things. The idea being that you can be wearing some sort of glass type device walking down the street, and as you're walking down the street, you can be looking at a store, and you can have the storefront tell you what the specials are in that store just by wandering past it. It's another way that people can advertise. For somebody like me who's terrible with remembering people's names, you could have facial recognition technology built in. So as you're walking down the street, you'll be going, hey, that's that guy over there, and all of a sudden, bing, a little cloud will come up above your head saying, Rob Minalt. It'll tell me when your birthday is, who your kids are, who your wife is, and all I have to do is say, hey, Rob, how you doing? Why are you wearing that kilt?
Well, that's you have me at that. Although the idea that I could be wearing these glasses and walk by an Old Navy and then get a pop-up of an Old Navy ad as I'm walking through the mall, that's terrifying.
That's coming sooner rather than later, even to your phones. That's already happening.
Yeah, and presumably, like with your phones, you just turn notifications off for that kind of thing if it annoys you and carry on.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be, walking down the street will be just like the Wild West of web browsing, right?
That's right.
When we all had Internet Explorer and you'd go to the wrong website and all of a sudden 75 windows would pop up in front of you. How do I make it stop? Make it stop!
Oh, I miss those days.
Yeah.
Those good old GeoCities web pages with the flashing animated banners.
Yes.
Oh.
You have won $10 million. Click here.
That's right. Oh.
Your computer is infected with a virus. Click here. Oh, man, how many people got caught on that one?
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the NuEyes. So what?
And that's available now?
NuEyes is available now. It has the magnification feature, the text enhancement feature. That's pretty much it for the starters, but the software upgrades for it are going to be free. And people will be able to tap into the new features as they are released. The hardware is already there.
Nice.
Very nice. Let's see. So what else were we going to talk about?
There's Dictation Bridge, which is an open source alternative to JSay and JDictate.
Okay. And what's JSay and JDictate?
JSay and JDictate are programs that tie into JAWS and Dragon Naturally Speaking so that somebody who's visually impaired can do dictation to their computer, or using JSay, take full control of their computer just using their voice. The reasoning behind Dictation Bridge is that it's open source, so it's community driven. They're trying to raise funds so that they can support other screen readers. Right now they're working with NVDA. But they hope to raise enough to work with JAWS, NuEyes, System Access. Some of the benefits of going open source and being community driven is that they have a lot more developers behind their program, and they can do more region specific development on it. So more languages can be supported in a much quicker fashion than the current products are. So it's kind of a mixed feelings right now in the community as to whether or not it's a good project, bad project, good idea, bad idea.
Any idea what engine they're using for the recognition?
I don't off the top of my head. They are working with Dragon.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're going to be working with Dragon Pro, Dragon Individual, all the Dragon stuff.
Okay, so you are still going to have to buy a license for Dragon in order to use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now the screen reader is NVDA. That's the only one that's supported at this point.
Right.
They've got some funding targets on their Dictation Bridge website that once they reach, they can start doing more development towards different screen reading products and more feature-rich products. But for now, it's basic dictation and NVDA use.
Well, that'd be interesting. I wonder if they're targeting the same sort of audience that JSay did, which is that group that has a visual impairment as well as a physical disability and can't necessarily access a keyboard. Have they said if they want to take it to that level, or is this going to be still something that JSay will have the corner on?
No, from what I've read, they want to be able to give a person full computer access using voice only, using their voice, Dictation Bridge, and whatever screen reader of your choice. So they want to be able to support Office applications, your Windows applications, despite whether you're using JAWS, NuEyes, doesn't matter.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got their work cut out for them.
They really do, but I kind of hope they succeed. You know, just because there is more than just the English-speaking language out there, that people who require this product could get great use out of a product like this.
Has JSA been localized for other languages?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Interesting.
But time will tell. You know, more information at DictationBridge.com.
You're such a shill.
And we should probably do a shout out to JSA as well.
Yes.
Seeing as give them equal time there. What's the JSA website?
Hartgen, HARTGEN.org. Brian's been a really great guy to work with, and you know there is no product like JSA on the market, and it has changed people's lives, and that's why I think Aroga is quite proud to carry his product line, and you know I don't see us changing that anytime soon.
Yeah, and Brian, in case we've sowed all kinds of complete misinformation here, you can be a guest on this program anytime you want.
Absolutely.
Correct any misinformation we've put out there.
That's right. We don't need to burn any more bridges.
That's right.
With this first episode.
Edit.
Edit.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We've already annoyed Apple and Microsoft.
That's okay. We can do
What
that.
could be worse? Hey, let's annoy Google.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, what can you say bad about Google?
I could say
Getting music on your phone has never been easier. It's just cut and paste, drag and drop.
Yeah, love that.
okay. Google Plus.
Google Plus. Are you the only one still using Google Plus?
Isn't that social network that Google employees use?
That's right.
Hangouts? How'd that work? That
Yeah,
didn't work very well.
That didn't work too well for us.
No. Google Waves?
What's Google Waves?
I think that's a new thing they just came out with again. It's almost, I think, like a Facebook competitor.
Oh.
It's going to be their social network type thing. I think it's called Google Waves.
They need to just stick to the self-driving car. Just work on that. Let's get that going.
Well, and their maps. Their maps are awesome.
Yeah, their maps are crazy good.
Maps are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's definitely certain things that Google does really well, and Maps is one of them. Their phones are kind of awesome.
Their phones are awesome.
Android is excellent.
Yep.
Very excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, have you got the update yet? Ryan?
No, Steve already had his Nexus 6 came with Marshmallow.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember what version I'm up to.
Yeah,
I
6.0.
picked up another update maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah, and depending on your carrier, Linda's got a Samsung S5 Android phone. She's with TELUS, and she got her update a week ago. I'm with Rogers, and I still don't have my update.
Yeah.
And Rob, do you have yours yet?
No, that's
so we should have them by the end of the month. Google just had their national conference or annual conference as well last week, Google I/O. And you can already get beta versions of the next Android version, Steve, if you have a Nexus device. So,
And I do.
You might want to play with that.
Because I'm a nerd.
What are they?
Big capital N on my forehead.
We don't know what N's going to stand for yet. Maybe it's nerd.
There you go.
Could be. You might be onto something.
Yeah, I wish they would, go a different way when they're naming these the lollipop, marshmallow, it's ridiculous.
Kit Kat, gingerbread.
Yeah, I can't keep track of that. Like, give me numbers.
Yeah, got numbers.
Whatever happened to 1, 2, 3, and 4?
That's right.
You're on 5.1 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Marshmallow will be 6.
Yeah, you see, you know that. I don't know that.
Because I use Google.
So do I, but I don't pay attention to that. I just go, ooh, update.
Exactly.
Press the button. Yes, I'd like to install it because I'm, as I mentioned earlier, that OS guy.
And when it breaks your phone, how'd that work for you?
Well, I had to do a factory reset the other day. I got some program, I think it was called Contacts Plus, and it erased all of my family.
Oh, no.
Everybody that I had ever texted with, it erased all their contacts.
Wow.
It was so annoying. I call it contact minus now.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it wasn't supposed to do that.
Probably not. I looked at the reviews for it. People were reviewing it quite highly, but
Well, it's probably because it got rid of their family.
It's the antisocial plugin of the year.
That's right, the antisocial network. Excellent.
Cool.
Okay, well, anyone got anything else? Or can we put this thing to bed?
I think we can probably put this to bed. Let's do our closeout.
Did we plan a closeout?
We didn't plan a closeout. We should do a song.
A song?
Yeah, let's do a song.
What song should we do?
Good night, Irene.
Start us
In
off.
3-part harmony.
Oh.
Start us off.
No, I don't know how it goes.
Or the words.
Or the words. I know.
I sense another
I'll see you in my dreams. It's in there somewhere. And there's a lot of good night, Irene in it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, good night, Irene.
Good night, Irene.
Good night, Irene.
This podcast has been brought to you by Aroga Technologies. Visit Aroga Technologies online at www.aroga.com. That's AROGA.com. Music provided by bensound.com.